Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about Émile Durkheim. This is one of the key persons in sociology that you really need to make sure to understand if you want to be able to pass your tests or if you have any essays that you need to do. So it's going to be a lot of great summarized short information that you can take use of. Feel free to take any of these terms, look it up to get some more information on them. I'm just going to skim through them so you guys know what Émile was about pretty much. So to start off, he was born 1858, died 1917. He was French and he was one of the founders of sociology, a sociological key person, you could say. So he has four different key concepts. Those are society over the individual, collective consciousness, organic solidarity, and mechanic solidarity. There's going to be, we're going to go through them again in the end, but here we're just going to skim through these four different terms. So these key concepts, those four, are the main concepts of Émile Durkheim, the most important ones. Society over individual is something very characteristic about him. So Durkheim believed that society exerted a powerful force on individuals. According to Durkheim, people's norms, beliefs, and values make up for a collective consciousness or shared way of understanding and behaving in the world. So pretty much what this means is that the individual is more powerful and kind of creates the society. Like to just explain how it works, you know, we have rules which are created in society. You know, you have rules that everyone needs to follow, but you also have these like passive rules like norms and beliefs, and these one are created in groups. And you know, there are different kind of groups with different kind of beliefs and norms. For instance, just take politics, for instance, what people believe is the best political party to vote for. So those are norms and beliefs, and these will differ from different kind of groups, and it can depend on your economical status, where you come from, you know, different kind of cultures, and this was just what he wanted to merge together. All these beliefs and norms are like they create the society, and society is made out of all these kind of different individuals, and society also will differ because individuals will differ, thereby society will also differ along the way. Collective consciousness might be the main key point here, or at least one of the most important, and it just goes back to what we just talked about. So that it binds individuals together and creates social integration. For instance, a group of people might have different norms or ideas of how things should be done compared to another group. Both groups, however, might share bigger norms, like norms of the society. So a very modern example of this would be anti-vaxxers versus people who want to get vaccinated. So anti-vaxxers believe that taking the vaccine is dangerous, it's wrong, it's bad. Meanwhile, people who vaccinate think it's something that you should do, like it's completely normal, and you should almost be like obligated to do it, like it's something very clear, and they have a very hard time understanding how someone would not take the vaccine. Meanwhile, anti-vaxxers have like the opposite view. Perhaps they believe that the government are in control, and this is what the collective consciousness means. So people that grew up in a group, if you grew up in a group with anti-vaxxers, you are going to get affected by their beliefs, and you're going to have different kind of set of norms compared to people who grew up in another group in society where people were going to get vaccinated. So usually people will take these, and you have like different, if you know how much money these groups make, where they live in the society, if they are unemployed, if they are men, if they're women, how old they are. There are a lot of different kind of ways that you can separate these groups. But basically it means that, you know, different groups have different rules and societies, and their point of view of the reality is going to be completely different compared to other groups. But you know, the collective consciousness is just not a little group, it can be on different levels. So you can have a little small group, like in your neighborhood, you might have different kind of beliefs, what's right or wrong. But then in your city, perhaps, there might be other norms or beliefs. For instance, you guys might think that there might be like a common thinking that some restaurant is bad, or you guys perhaps have some norms that in your city specifically, it is very normal to do separate kind of different things, Maybe you wait in line, especially at some different places, or perhaps at just kind of different things that if you were coming from another town to visit your city, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't understand it. Perhaps you guys have slang. In San Francisco, people would say Frisco, and people coming from another city wouldn't really understand that. So that's like a collective consciousness, how you speak, how you talk, and it kind of creates like an identity. And then you have like collective consciousness on a national level. So in a country there might be different norms that like everyone in the country would understand, and if you're coming from another country to visit that country, you're going to be shocked, you're not going to understand anything. And these different kind of things that creates the social integration can also be a very big part of why it's very hard for the people to integrate in societies, because there are a lot of these norms and like hidden rules that people don't understand. And this is like the collective consciousness, how like these groups are created and how big norms and things can differ between the groups. And this was like one of the most powerful things that he would talk about. So collective consciousness is a very high key term that you really need to understand in order to understand Durkheim's sociology. So mechanical solidarity is pretty much simpler societies are based on mechanical solidarity, in which self-sufficient people are connected to others by close personal ties and traditions. It normally operates in traditional and small-scale societies. In simpler societies, like tribal, solidarity is usually based on kinship ties of familiar networks. So pretty much a solidarity that were mechanical were like back in the older days, when you have like the kind of farmer villages, simpler villages without any kind of individual specialization. So like the works that you would see around in these villages would usually be like very simple, and people wouldn't be like super specialized, usually not that educated as well. So it was like a very easy and the term like mechanical solidarity was like people were like more similar, like mechanically similar to each other, which were like they had common beliefs. They didn't really have much that separated them. They were quite the same kind of point of view on the world, not really that divided. In comparison to organic solidarity, where you had modern societies are based on organic solidarity, in which people are connected by their reliance on others in the division of labor, rather than back in the days when you had maybe that mechanical use, what you could do, you could clean, you could help, you could do whatever. Today we are like more specialized. We are a different kind of people, and people today differ a lot. So even if you live in the same society, you might have nothing in common with a lot of people, because either you move there for a work, or people are living there for different kind of opportunities compared to back in the days where, even though this might be a more like economic point of view, but you would live in a society back in the days for like primarily could be survival. Meanwhile now it could be because of your career or a lot of other different reasons to why people would move. Although modern societies may undermine the traditional bonds of mechanical solidarity, it replaces them with the bonds of organic solidarity. So you could say it's like mechanical solidarity, but it's the natural evolving from mechanical to organic. It is social cohesion based upon the dependence individuals have on each other in more advanced societies. So for instance, when you are sick, you're going to visit a doctor. When you need to get your car fixed, you're going to visit a mechanic. When you want your house cleaned, if you have a lot of money, perhaps you will hire a cleaning lady or cleaning firm that fixes that for you, instead of just asking your neighbor or people in your neighborhood like you would do perhaps back in the days. So that is like the key difference between now and then. And just to tie this all together, you can then like see how the society develops. Kind of creates a huge difference in how people interact with each other. So like you see the collective consciousness have changed a lot as well throughout, from mechanical to organic solidarity. The groups will differ, society will differ. You will have a new set of different people that create different norms, that create different kind of rules. And by rules, I don't mean rules that are made by law. I mean like you could have like this norm, like the stronger norms that are like almost like rules in different groups. How you talk or how you walk, how you treat, how you speak, pretty much like that. It can be a little bit confusing to start up, but we're going to go through this once again. So society over individual. These are the only 4 things that you need to take away from here. Society over the individual. So the individual creates the society, and the society kind of creates back the individual. But do you have all the different individual groups that creates the society? Society is something that changes over time, as individuals also changes over time, and they are all dependent on each other pretty much for survival. Society won't survive without the individuals. And the collective consciousness might be one of the key, or if not the key aspect here. It's a kind of collective consciousness that you will have in a group, the set of norms, how you talk, how you speak to each other, all the kind of things that it can be from a group of like norms that you have in your household. It can be in your neighborhood, in your part of the city, in the city, in your region, your state, your country. So there's a lot of different levels of collective consciousness. So back, like for instance, to the vaccine question. So you can have one country that you have 80% of people believing vaccine is amazing, and then you have another country where 80% believes it's terrible, and then you have like the same science. You say that the country A and country B, they have the same opportunity to get the same kind of science, but because of their different norms and how they view the world, they will still have a very different idea. Perhaps like in the collective consciousness in country B might be that they don't trust science, they don't believe in science, and that will be one part of their collective consciousness. Meanwhile, in country A, you believe in science, more people believe, and the collective consciousness there is to believe. And then organic solidarity, and in contra mechanic solidarity. Mechanic solidarity is the more old school solidarity, where people, live a simpler life and were reliant on each other, more like physically, that you were like a group together, working together. Organic solidarity is more that you are dependent on each other, but more the specialized version. Since everyone pretty much today in society have a different skill, all your needs are going to get filled by other people. So that is pretty much everything for this video. Good luck with your exam or whatever you are doing while you needed this information. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful for you. Catch you guys around in the next one.